and gentlemen, welcome in once again to the dungeon of the Doctors of Doom Fantasy Football Podcast, where I am your host, Alex the Shark Sparks, and joining me as always, my partner in crime. Give it up for the one, the only, Mitch Terraforming Black. Say hello to all the Delvers out there, my friend.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that inside joke alone. We'll just leave it there.
yeah. Don't worry about that. What that car screech word should have been.
Out of all the times we've ever been worried about being canceling, this one will instantly get us canceled.
There's a reason I did not say it out loud. All right, Mitch, welcome in. Vinny's not here today, but I'm not gonna give him a hard time for it because he grew just the tiniest sliver of backbone, and he showed up to the Super Bowl party. It was great getting to see him. It was the first time the three of us have been in the same room in 2 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I think it would have been because he wasn't at Brake's Christmas party, and you weren't in the desert when he and I were hanging out, and then he wasn't at the Super Bowl last year. So yeah, I think it would have been 2 years ago that all three of us were in the same room together at the Super Bowl party last year. So it's definitely nice. I think it's the first time since we launched this podcast we have all been in the same place at the same time. Kind of wild when you think of it that way. But yeah, so great seeing him, great seeing everybody. Thank you everyone who came out and enjoyed the Super Bowl party. It was great to get to ball again. Defensive skills may have gone downhill, but the offense is still cooking. Our team crushed it, Mitch, in the backyard Super Bowl. I think if we'd gone on forever, eventually Brake's endurance would have outlasted and we would have won.
Yeah, Adam's endurance was the winner for sure.
But yeah, so let's talk Super Bowl. Obviously, party was great. The game, not so much. I don't know about you, but that game was an absolute snooze fest. I would have rather watched paint dry than have to watch that game again.
The only reason it was disappointing is just because the fun part, about it is, for people who bet or not, it's just the Patriots just didn't exist for any of the betting over-unders or anything like that. And yes, the game itself was bad. And the craziest part is he did historically so bad. And then I think he had the best quarter ever. Drake May had the best quarter ever for one quarter in the Super Bowl history, right? The most passing yards ever. So it was so boring because he couldn't do anything ever the whole game.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks just wanted to prevent defense because, for those who didn't watch the game, I don't know what you're doing listening to a fantasy football podcast, but props to you. You'll look at the final score, you're like, 29-13. That's not too bad. Only two scores, whatever. No, this game was 3-0 at the end of the first quarter, 6-0 at the end of the second quarter, 9-0 at the end of the third quarter, and then both teams decided, hey, let's play football in the fourth. So yeah, the fourth was entertaining from that standpoint, but it was already decided at that point. But yeah, this game was it was an absolute snooze fest up until the fourth quarter. The most exciting thing was in the fourth quarter trying to figure out who's going to win the prize pool because we had, money pool going on like a lot of people do based on what the final, numbers are on the score. And that did change a lot. And it ended up going to producer Vinny, who had left by that point in time. But, Mom's still going to hook him up with some cash. I will say I did win some money at my work, which was nice. Makes the pod look good. We got 300-400 employees, and it was whoever guesses the closest correct score with correct winner wins. And I had 27-13 Seahawks was my guess. So I was only off by 2 points, $150 from work. So got that going for me.
I have a couple questions. One, does Vinny know how that ended up playing out?
Nope, he won his $100, Mitch, and that's what happened.
And two, since we are kind of a fantasy podcast as well, after watching that game and seeing Kenneth Walker, what next year, let's say the fantasy draft for next year, and it was your pick, right? And these running backs are on the board, and you know what I mean? Would you rather have Kenneth Walker or Etienne?
So here's the problem with that layout is Kenneth Walker is that player in two scenarios. One where he doesn't get hurt, that's not a given for him. But I think two, more importantly, where Zach Charbonnet's not there. The reason Kenneth Walker was such a beast these last few weeks in the playoffs is because Zach Charbonnet got hurt. When Charbonnet's there, and it's not that Charbonnet's better, he is not. Kenneth Walker is a better running back. The difference is the team likes to use the split back situation, and when you have, it's like the free Aaron Jones scenario. It wasn't that Aaron Dillon was bad; he just wasn't good as Aaron Jones. It's not that Zach Charbonnet's bad; he's just not as good as Kenneth Walker. But as long as you have a coach who's committed to playing both of them, it limits both of their values, right? The
Yeah.
one year that we got, not this year because he's older, but the year before, when we got a healthy Aaron Jones for an entire season with no backup poaching carries, he was a great running back. Now, unfortunately, he's a little older. Then they brought in a backup in Jordan Mason, and that only happened in 1 year. But same thing with, if next year, if you told me week 1, Charbonnet gets the same injury week 1 where he's out for season, then yeah, I'm absolutely going to want Kenneth Walker on my fantasy team.
Let's say
But
Charbonnet is healthy because, like, what's his name? Oh my gosh, the Tootin or whatever. He for ETN's backup was eaten into him. So, like, I get that there are backups eaten into it, but do you think there's any chance that they kind of give Kenneth Walker more of like a 70-30 next year or a 60-40, or it's just back to the normal split?
I think it's back to the normal split unless they have to overutilize him. Because I think part of it is to manage his workload, right? Like, they want to keep him healthy so they can do this. They gave him, what was it, 26, 29 touches in the Super Bowl? Like, I can't remember off the top of my head. Like, he was a workhorse in the Super Bowl, and I think it's one of those where they want to keep him healthy so he can be that 27 for 135. They want him to be healthy so he can be that workhorse in the playoffs, and he can't be a workhorse in the playoff if he's getting 300 touches in the regular season like some of these other guys. So I think that's intentional. I don't think at any point during the year the coach thought that Charbonnet was a better running back, right? I think he
Yeah.
knew what he had. I think he's like, hey, we're going to spell this guy by splitting carries, which will limit the chance he gets injured and have him fresher legs later on. And so, I don't know in the playoffs we may have seen a lot less Charbonnet even if he was healthy, right? Because of how well
Gotcha.
Walker, how much better
Let me
Walker
give
is.
you let me
Yeah, go
give you a
ahead.
couple names. Tell me who would you rather have in fantasy?
Sure,
Pretend
sure.
like, we're farther along. Would you rather have Kyron Williams or Kenneth Walker? You don't even have to say why right now because it's so early and we're so
Why?
far away in the
No,
draft. It's just food for
in
thought.
that scenario, I will take Kenneth Walker, and my reason being there are a lot more fish to feed in the Rams backfield than the Seahawks one. Like, Kenneth Walker is splitting with one guy, whereas you have the two backs who are already there and established in LA, and then they
Yep.
drafted one, which, like,
What if one of those guys gets hurt? But anyways, yeah. What about Bucky Irving or Kenneth Walker?
I'm going to take Bucky Irving. I think this year was a fluke because Bucky Irving was
Got
hurt for
her.
a lot of the year. When he
Yep.
came back and was healthy, he had lost some of the work to Sean. I can't think of his name, the third string guy right now.
Yeah.
But like
I didn't
Rashad White, who was the starter in Bucky's absence, disappeared the second Bucky came back. That's Bucky's backfield. He was just hurt.
Would you rather have RJ Harvey or Kenneth Walker?
It it depends on what's going on with J.K. Dobbins.
But see, they both split.
Right. But the difference is, like, was J.K. Dobbins even still going to be a Bronco next year? Like, was he on a 1 year deal? Like, what was, you know what I mean? Like,
That's okay. So we'll let that one go because
so
that
like,
does massively
because yeah,
influence
there's a world where we enter the fantasy season and R.J. Harvey is the only back in that backfield,
for sure.
right?
Would
So
you
that
rather
changes
have
my answer.
last one? Then we can move on. Would you rather have Kenneth Walker or Javonte Williams?
Javante was my boy last year. I think unless the Cowboys make any like significant changes, like their O line gets worse or they sign a running back, because they drafted a running back last year and he didn't come close to taking the job from Javante. So I would say Javante unless, like, the Cowboys lose a key piece on the O line or something, or they like go out and sign a veteran running back. I don't know who that'd be, but, like, you know what I mean, like. Unless there's a situation like that, I'd be pretty comfortable with Javante running it back.
All
I
right.
don't
The
think
only
he'll be a
reason I asked,
top 5 running back again, but I think top 12 is very in the field of reality given how good the Cowboys offense is.
for full context, make it come full circle. We criticized your father for taking Kenneth Walker in the first pick of the third round, and it turns out he might have just been ahead of it because, well, he did take him as the number 10 running back, but that could have been like a gap in running. We don't have to get into all that, but turns out Nolan might have been ahead of the just a little too early on that pick.
Yeah, but I mean, but Charbonnet finished the season with more fantasy points. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though
Yeah.
because he just,
But I'm just saying, based on our discussion right now, that's about where he's going to be drafted, right? So, but I mean, obviously a lot changes, but yeah.
But yeah, it's like, Walker had more carries, more yards per carry, but Charbonnet was the goal line back. He's the one that got all the touchdowns. And like, if you take Charbonnet out of this equation and you shift half these TDs over here and maybe half
Oh,
these
if you
yards
just,
over here, you've got a
yeah.
1,300 yard, 10 plus TD guy, and I'm way more invested in that than a 1,000 yard 5 TD guy.
most split back situations, it's flipped. It's like, why did Charbonnet take away 5 TDs from my 12 TD Kenneth Walker? Walker could have been top guy. But in this situation, for some reason, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
no, he didn't just take away 5. He took away 12. So yeah, I think if you just add 6 of those TDs, where does it put him up there? Let's just say 6 of those go to Walker. How many more points? 6 times 36. How many points did he have total? So I go down real quick for Walker.
147. It was very close. It was a 5-point difference. If you switch one touchdown, Walker out.
No, but I'm just saying, let's say instead of 12 TDs going to Charbonnet, let's say 6 TDs went to Charbonnet, so then you transfer 6 to Walker. Where does that put him higher up on the list? 36 more
He'd be
fantasy
177,
points.
so he'd be right here where Genty finished.
Yeah, that's very interesting to me. All right.
So,
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley-esque.
Yeah.
But yeah, Javonte and Josh Jacobs right there where it took them.
Yeah, Javonte, great pick. All right.
Oh man. But yeah, I mean, Kyron Williams is Williams and Etienne also super close together. Williams had more points, which is kind of weird because it just came from yards, I guess, and because they had the same number of TDs, right?
Right.
And receiving yards is like a 1-point difference. It just came from rushing yards.
Yeah.
I do think Kyron Williams is the better player at this point in his career. He's also younger, I believe. I don't know how much. Let's see. Kyron is 25. Etienne is 27. Yeah, a couple years younger. So. A couple less years worth of tire on the tread.
What's Walker? Sorry, what's Walker?
Oh, I was talking about the Etienne versus.
Yeah, I was just saying no. Well, I forget his age. One more.
Did I get too far? Yeah, I did. Walker is 25 as well. He's young. He's young. He's just been hurt a lot. I mean, if we go to the game log. Nope, stats. That's what I want to look at. Yeah. So if we go to the stats, I mean, we say hurt a lot. It's really just last year. I think that was in people's minds. Like he did miss. He's missed a couple games every season, but he didn't have significant time missed until last year. And this year he played the whole season, but this year they spelled him a little bit.
And this year was his least total TD too, which is why it's crazy.
Yeah, because if you look at the touches didn't actually go down really, right? Like 228, 219, 221. Those are all kind of the same wheelhouse. And the yardage didn't change. 4.6 yards per carry, 4.1. His yards per carry actually went up this season. But the difference is just those touchdowns went somewhere else.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, I think if this was a guy that drew end zone more, he'd be much more on people's radars.
For sure.
Anyway, all right. Yeah, so that's the Super Bowl. Like I said, not the most interesting of games, but the fourth quarter at least had something. But yeah, I was talking to someone before the game. Oh, it was Chris not last week, but last time we had a podcast, I was talking to Chris, and he felt, that he thought the Patriots were going to be back and the Seahawks wouldn't, and I completely disagreed. I think the Seahawks are built for a longer-term run. They have a young, good defense. They have a young, good running back. They have a young, stud wide receiver, and they have a fine quarterback. Not great, not bad, fine. He actually led the league in turnovers during the regular season, did not have a single turnover in the playoffs, and that's important to be able to do. The Patriots, on the other hand, I talked about this before on the podcast, I think they got very lucky this year. They did not play a very difficult schedule. They won all the one-score games. It's kind of like the Chiefs a couple years ago. They won all their one-score games, and then look what happened this year. They didn't, and look how different their record is when you're not winning those one-score games. I don't think the Patriots are going to be as lucky next year as this year. Now, they might be better, but they clearly have work to do. You can't have a guy get sacked 1 million times. I think it's a playoff record, right? How many times Drake May got sacked?
So watching the Seahawks just manhandle the Patriots in the Super Bowl, who's the most upset watching that game in the whole NFL? You could pick anyone. You could pick a franchise. You could pick a player. You could pick a coach.
I mean, if it's me, it's got to be Tyler Lockett, right?
The wide receiver for the Seahawks?
Yeah, he was a wide receiver for the Seahawks for 10 years. The year before he got there, they won a Super Bowl. The year after he arrived, or after he left, they won a Super Bowl. So
Oh, I didn't even know he wasn't on the team this
yeah, he was there
year.
for a decade in between Super Bowl
See,
wins.
I was thinking like the low-hanging fruit was like the Broncos. Like, right, if they had Bo Nix, they probably could have been like, wow, we could have beaten the Patriots and at least had a chance. Or like the other ones, like the Rams or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, man, if
Oh yeah,
the
I think the Rams, if the Rams beat the Seahawks, they also trounced the Patriots in my opinion. I don't think the Patriots were beating any quality NFC opponent in the Super Bowl.
yeah,
Because like I said, their only quality win the entire season, in my opinion, was when they beat the Bills. Because the only other teams they beat with winning records was the Texans when their quarterback alone had 5 turnovers. They had additional ones in that game, but their quarterback alone had 5 turnovers. He had 10 turnovers in 2 consecutive playoff games, by the way, combined. Crazy stat for him. But like that's a free basket. They got the Broncos, who are missing their starting running back and their starting quarterback, and it was their first game with the backup when like the backup had gotten to warm up. That was a free basket. And then they played the Chargers. Like, okay, if you want to give them the Chargers as a quality opponent, fine. The 2 quality wins in the entire season, whereas the Seahawks beat the Rams twice, as well as many other good teams.
yeah. The only reason I would be on, I agree with you with 90% of it. The only 10% I would agree with Chris is that dynasties are more built around QBs. And Darnold, don't get me wrong, he definitely earned it and he did really good this playoffs, especially the NFC Championship against the Rams. He had an amazing game. But like every time you just overall watch a lot of his games, and even in the Super Bowl, you're like, this is just a B plus quarterback. He's just never bad anymore, like he used to be, but he's never like he's not, I don't see him go out there and just absolutely win games on his shoulders. So the argument I would make to Chris is the stats around May is insane with his accuracy deep ball, and they asked him to win games this year. Yes, that defense is good, but as far as a dynasty goes, that's usually built around a QB, and I don't. There's a lot of QBs who have made the Super Bowl and or won every now and then, but as far as a dynasty goes, I don't know if there's going to be a dynasty built around Darnold. Even as good as that defense is, it's hard for me to imagine Darnold's going to have a dynasty in the NFL. So I'll give you a little credit there, Chris.
Yeah, but it's more of a think about how many dominant defenses have won championships with quarterbacks who are so much worse, like
For
Trent
sure.
Dilfer and
Yeah.
Elvis Grbac and those kind of guys. And it's like
Big
Sam
Ben.
Darnold's not as bad as those guys. Now he's not as good as a lot of quarterbacks, but he's not as bad as those guys.
Yeah.
So
For
that
sure. I
that
agree with you.
yeah.
It stays on, I guess, the shoulders of McDonald's play calling. I saw some stat or something like that where McDonald's the first head coach to call all the defensive plays the whole year, like every single play, and I think it was like 25 years or something like that. So he's really taken the leadership and the ownership of that. So yeah, they could do a dynasty around him, but a lot of times it's a copycat league, and these offenses will figure out Mike McDonald, and Mike McDonald will have to alter, adjust, and it'll be that game of adjusting ebb and flow. Whereas Darnold could just go out there every single day and just win it if he had the talent, and that's the hard part for me to get my head around.
Yeah, but I mean that's the other thing, right? I mean, we've talked about this. When do you want to make your run? You want to make your run when your quarterback's on their rookie deal. Now Darnold's not on a rookie deal, but he is on a team friendly deal. He's only getting
For
$30
sure.
million a year. So that's why the teams that have Darnold at 30, Baker at 33, these not young but not old, like these kind of veteran, I guess is the best word, like the young veteran quarterback, whatever
Yeah.
word you want to choose, on these team friendly deals. I think this is the new way to make a run besides having a guy on a rookie deal. Not like the rookie deal strat still works if you find the right rookie, but the last couple of quarterback classes have been a little weak, right? Like we thought we
Yeah.
thought we had a really strong one 2 years ago, and then coming into this year, Jaden Daniels was hurt the whole time. I think we might have a RG3 situation. I am not in any way, shape, or form buying Caleb Williams, as you know. Penix got himself hurt, but I think he might have gotten himself benched if he didn't get hurt. JJ McCarthy's probably not going to be the starter anymore. Bo's the one guy who did well this year, and then he broke his foot, right? So, that QB class may not be as good as we thought. This QB class, no one really has hope for. Or the one coming out now isn't like like, a really highly vaunted one. I mean, obviously, I hope Fernando Mendoza works out as a Raider fan, but like, that's
I
not
like
like.
him, by the way. Side note, I don't know if he's going to be good or not, but he seems like a quarterback that would be well represented. I would like him to represent my franchise.
No, he seems like a good person and all, but
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
when you look at his stats for winning the Heisman, and when you look at other Heisman quarterback winning QB
not
stats,
close.
it's not even close, dude. So
Uh-uh.
like, yeah, I just think multiple weak QB classes in a row. I think this is really the opportunity, the window for these teams that have these experienced quarterbacks on not rookie deals, but on team friendly deals. This is
Yeah.
when the teams like the Bucks, teams like the Seahawks, teams like the Raiders, if Geno wasn't a trash can fire, like if they magically get an O line, like where those teams that are getting decent quarterback play at a discount can make something happen. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
Rank those if you had to, because I'm sure it's gonna like think about last year, how much has changed for this year, changed to the next year. But so just to get on record, let's have some fun. Let's rank those QBs if you had to right now, and then we could probably do this at the end of next year. Jaden Daniel, the 2024 draft class or whatever. Daniels, Caleb Williams, Daniels, May, Penix, McCarthy, Nix.
And what am I like if I'm building a franchise? Which of those
Just
guys do I
one through,
want?
no, yeah, just one, just straight up. You're, I don't know, pretend you're making Madden ratings or something, just 1 through 5. What would you know what I mean? Like,
I
in
mean,
order, best to last.
I still think Jaden Daniels is the one because like we don't know enough. He had a fantastic rookie year and he was hurt his entire sophomore campaign, so he gets a pass for one more year. So I put him at 1. Bo is clearly the 2.
That was the two. I love it.
Yeah. Um, then it gets pretty sketch. I mean, what are my choices now? I have to
Caleb
choose from.
Williams, Drake
Yeah, so I'm
May,
probably putting Penix. Oh, hold on. May was in that class. That's a good point. Sorry, let me take
Drake
it back.
May, Penix, and McCarthy.
I'm still putting Bo 2. I'll put May 3. I'll put Penix 4, and then McCarthy 5. Was Caleb Williams the previous year then?
No, Caleb's the number 1 pick in that draft. So
Yeah.
that's you got. So
Yeah.
pick them, put them. So Caleb, Jaden, Caleb 1, Jaden 2, Drake
Right,
3,
but these are my
Penix.
rankings. These are my yeah. So
Oh yeah, sorry.
yeah.
Oh, I apologize.
So
I
I'm
thought you
I'm
asked.
putting Jaden Daniels at 1 because of how good his rookie year
I
was.
see what you said now. I apologize.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm putting Jaden Daniels at 1 because of how good his rookie year was. We didn't really get to see a sophomore campaign out of him, so he's still
Yep.
my 1.
Bo
I'm putting
2,
Bo at 2 because
May 3.
I think that Drake May is more smoke and mirrors than people think. I do like Drake May. I think he's going to be good, but I think he's got more room to grow, and I think we're going to see a lot more growth, a lot more quickly out of a guy coached by Sean Payton than out of a guy coached by Mike Rabel. I think Rabel's a fantastic coach, but look, he's a linebacker. He's not a quarterback guru. Then I'm putting Drake May at number 3. Then from there it gets a little more sketch, just because I do not believe him whatsoever. I'll put Penix at 4. I'll put Williams at 5, and I'll put McCarthy at 17.
17. Yeah, I was gonna say you start throwing in other guys now. Would you
Yeah.
rather have Dart, or McCarthy?
Oh, Dart goes so high on that list that I just put together.
Oh,
So,
interesting. Where would you put Dart then? You just
uh,
made the list. Slot Dart in somewhere.
based on what I saw in his rookie campaign,
Yeah,
I'm probably slotting Dart in at 3,
behind Bo, ahead of May.
behind Bo, ahead of May. Right, and this is for right now. This is not
Yeah,
just for
no, no,
clarity,
no.
not
This
long
this
term projections. Just based on what I saw this year from Drake. And I know it's crazy. Like Drake May was second MVP voting, but like again, guys, go look at the schedule. Look at who they played.
yeah.
Look at how Drake May performed in games where he played against a defense that was even remotely decent.
Yeah. No, the game is like you are our franchise and you have to pick a QB, one of these QBs right now. It's not like predicting later. You're trying to take who you think is the best QB right now. Because I think we're gonna revisit this game once a year for the next 5 or 6 years, and this list might change. So I just wanted to start it now because if we had started it last year, I think a lot of people would have been like, "Oh, Jaden's no brainer number 1." And I don't know if it's just you and I on the podcast right now, but if we had other people's opinions, I don't know if it's that clear cut of a list or if people's lists would exactly align. So
Well,
I
you,
just
you
think it'll
told
be
me doing
fun.
like Madden ratings. Yeah, if I was starting a franchise, I would not have Jaden Daniels as high because of the injury risk.
Oh,
I
because the injuries. Okay, well, let's
Yeah.
pretend then. Okay, so you think Jaden's outright the best player, but you're not necessarily sure you'd take him as a franchise. Gotcha. Okay,
He
so I just made it
of
more
all those
complicated
guys,
than.
he is. They've all played 2 seasons,
Yeah,
almost like they've all played 2 seasons. He has had the best single season out of all of them, in my
agreed.
opinion.
No, that's
Um,
right. Yeah.
and it wasn't like he was bad year 2. He didn't get to play much year 2, so I can't really like hold that against him. He had multiple
Yeah.
injuries keeping him out. The games he did play, he wasn't at 100%. A guy who's supposed to use his legs as part of his kit that can't run, like that changes things. So,
Yeah,
uh,
I just meant like I guess I made it more complicated because I
yeah,
was just trying to put it in the sense that like this was a real selection for the 2024 GMs of the NFL. They had to decide this order, you know what I mean? So it's just like I meant to put it in like what if you were deciding the order now, but that made it more complicated. Just like who do you think is the best now, and then we can revisit the question, halfway through the season next year and then at the end of next year. And I think it'll be very interesting to see how much it changes.
but yeah, if I'm starting a franchise right now today, then it's definitely either Knicks or May. Probably May. 2 reasons: one, he's younger,
Yeah.
and two, he hasn't had a big injury like Bo. I mean, I know the ankle's like a fluke, but still, anytime someone has an injury, you're worried about it. Part of Bo's
Yeah.
game is running, so just due to being younger and injury reverse, I would take May. Even though I think Bo is further along now. I think Bo is further along now because he is older and with the coach he's with. But I would,
Yeah.
if I'm starting a franchise today, I would take May.
So mine's unfortunately just due to injuries, and this is why my list might be a little flip, but I'll just put it on record. Yeah, I actually have Knicks, May, Daniels as my top three.
We
So
have the same top three, just different order then.
yeah, just a little different order. And mine, what did you said is 100% right. I probably shouldn't be discounting Daniels, but I guess I'm convoluted it with starting a franchise and who would you take now? So that's my fault.
I mean, I can't go on this podcast and give a whole like thing, like a comparison of how Jaden Daniels is just RG3 too, and
He
then
could be.
turn around and say, "Yeah, I'm starting a franchise with Jaden Daniels." It's like a
Exactly. Yeah.
typical. So, which
Cool.
and
Yeah.
again, I hope he's not. I
Oh,
hope
speaking of
he's not.
the Bo
But
Nix thing, did you see Bo Nix's response to Peyton? I've never really heard that in all my years.
no, you're gonna have to give me like more context.
So, what's his name? Sean Payton said something along the lines of like, "Oh yeah, he's had this injury before or whatever. It was probably due to happen. It's unfortunate to happen in the AFC." And Bo Nix comes out, called by his own agent, calls his own press conference that has nothing to do with the Broncos, and goes, "Sean Payton doesn't know my medical history. He shouldn't comment on these things."
Dang.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the story, Delver's it's good. It's good. It's a little, it's like, it's coming up on contract time soon for Knicks, and it's a little weird that Sean Payton would ever put that out in public. So it gives me belief that it's leverage with the agent. It's something's going on behind closed doors that needs to be kept an eye on.
Yeah, you never know what's gonna happen in the world of sports, but yeah, when you look at the yardage this year, obviously May was one on that list, Williams two, Bo Nix is three, but I think we all kind of agree that if you give the team and offensive coordinator Caleb Williams was on to one of these
Yeah,
other guys, like I think if you put Drake May on the Bears with that coaching staff and that talent around him, Drake May's to the moon, and he definitely
yeah,
breaks 4,000 yards passing.
Yep, I
So
agree.
that's just me, man. But yeah, so that's the Super Bowl. I had a couple of things I wanted to talk about, not football related, but Olympics related. Olympics is going on right now. Obviously, for those who aren't following, you should. Not as good as the Summer Olympics, but there's some fun events for sure. Mitch, you were there when this happened, so we were watching the men's big air event in snowboarding.
Yep.
What that is, it's just the men go off on a snowboard. Obviously, they go down a big ramp and then launch off the ramp and do one really cool trick and get graded on it. So the competition happens, and it was pretty mid. And then the screen's just sitting there showing the ramp and the snow and the crowd, and just kind of sitting on that image for about a minute. And then all of a sudden, you hear the commentator go, "Well, that was boring," and his broadcast partner go, yeah, really boring. The qualifiers were better. They definitely did not know they were still in the air. It was hilarious to watch. And that just kind of sums up NBC's coverage of the Olympics in a vacuum. It has been so wonky. They have a drone flying around to record, I assume, on every event. Two things. One, anytime you watch TV, all you can hear is the freaking drone. Like, get a sound engineer and crop that out. You don't need to hear those motors every time. B, at no point in any event that I've watched so far, and I've watched a lot, have I ever seen them cut to the footage of what the drone is recording. So it's not a live cam. It's something else, like some other media maybe. And C, half the time you can't see part of the trick because the drone is blocking the guy. So like, just get the drone out of the way. And this isn't just for big air. Like it's on pretty much any skiing events, any snowboarding events. It was on one of the like luge events, I think. I've seen this drone everywhere, and I'm sick of it. If I go to watch hockey and there's a drone, I'm gonna lose my mind, Mitch. I'm gonna lose my mind.
I'll take it. This is going to be debating in my head whether I should have said this the whole time, but which means I probably shouldn't. But yeah, the NBC Olympics with that sound constantly is the same sound I hear when I watch the war on YouTube from Ukraine. It's just the same sound, it's sounding over it. It's just like you think you would get rid of that sound because the viewers don't want to hear it, and not to mention it just sounds eerily. It's the first thing I thought of when I heard it. I don't know if they. I'm sure someone probably. You don't think that at one point they were like, hey, maybe we should figure out a way to muffle the sound, and they probably couldn't, right? And they just decided to have the drone footage and that the viewers would just be okay with that noise the whole time. I would love to know how that process played out because there's just no way to me that they're just completely oblivious to how loud that sound would be.
Well, and what about the replays, right? Because like the whole thing is like, these Olympics are happening in Milan, Italy, right? Like the Olympics. Right now it's 7:30 p.m. where I live. It's 5:30 p.m. where you live. The Olympics is over for the day. It's going to start up, at around like midnight your time, 2 a.m. for me. We're not watching it live. We're watching replays. Peacock posts all the replays. That's how people will get to watch it. Edit it out of the replay. So at least if you sure, okay, if I can't deal with it, if I watch it live, there's no way to edit out the drone. Fine, but like you'd think they could edit it out of the replays.
Yeah, here's the other thing that I have the most problem with. That has nothing to do with the drone. It's like when you watch it says, primetime coverage or whatever that's going to come on actually like right now or whatever. Actually, I can think in an hour or so. It's obviously of what's happened all before, right?
Right.
As you just described. The issue with me is like, so for the speed skating that came up last night and the night before, it's like because they don't think the viewers want to watch that or whatever. So they only are going to show us like 3 or 4 of the races. They go in pairs. So they only show us 3 or 4, and then it's like, oh, this is pair 10 to 15. It's like, wait, why are you randomly deciding to show us pair 10 to 15 when generally you'd probably just show us the last couple because those are the fastest racers, the heavy hitters or whatever.
Yeah. I was watching.
So why are you showing me pair of 10 to 15? Obviously, something very important happens here in this one, and it's like you show me. What was her name? Erin Jackson, the lovely American skater who dominates. It's like you show hers, you show one other, and then you show 10 to 15. It's like, well, obviously you're only showing the important ones that matter. So it's like either the American medals or collapses, and then one of the other two that you show me is the important winner. So Samantha and I then watched the next day's speed skate. We watched the whole pair. It's so much more enjoyable. You just watch pairs go all the way through. Yeah, it takes a little bit longer, but you never know when the person who's going to win. Then it happened again on the men's Super G. There's 35 or 34 contestants that go, and you only get one run, right? So you're thinking, oh, the best big heavy hitters will go at the end, 30 to 34 or 28 to 34. No, it was just randomly throughout. So then you watch the primetime coverage, they show you 5 people go. It's like, I wonder if this guy's going to have a good Super G run or if he's going to crash. We watched the full version where you watch all 34 go. Yes, it took like 40 minutes to watch it, but it was so enjoyable because we're just like, you don't know what's going to happen here. Is he going to crash? Is he going to win? So I think it's not just that. Yeah, it's what you said earlier. It's how NBC is choosing to portray it to us. It's like this. Pick a different way.
Even on some of the live event, like just the way they do, like they'll cut to commercial or they'll cut to like they want to do a story on some athlete, so they cut to like a 15-minute story on some fluff piece about the athletes. And look, it's great. People like to know that stuff, but like in the middle of the event, and it'll be like, all right, this is slope style. Run. There's 3 runs. Best run wins it. Right. Just best of one. They'll cut to that 15-minute fluff piece, and when they go back, they leave in the middle of run 1. They come back. All right, we're at the start of round 3, and here's the standings. And it's like 3 totally different guys on the podium, and it's like, those 3 guys might medal, and I might not see any of the medal runs because you decided to show me a 15-minute piece about this kid who grew up in Montana and how he started snowboarding when he was 8 years old. Like, that's cool, but that's not why I'm watching the Olympics right now. I'm watching to see the best people in the world do their stuff. Let me see them do their stuff. And one more thing about coverage that I forgot to mention, like, because of the whole, like, whether things are live or replays, they do show some replays throughout the day, and they do have, like, a daily thing where they'll check in on events. And, like, they don't think before they check in. They literally, I was watching it, they're like, and we're going to take you live to check in on Team USA women's hockey. They cut to a hockey match in the 3rd period. For those who don't know, there's only 3 periods in hockey. There were less than 5 minutes left in the match, and the U.S. was leading 5-0. So clearly we're going to win the game, okay? Yeah. They cut to that, showed it for a couple minutes, and then he's like, all right, and that's our show. And coming up next is a replay of this exciting women's hockey match. It's like, okay, I know who wins and I know the final score because you just did a live cut into the end of the game before you started your replay. And now, and this was on NBC, that wasn't on streaming. So this is on your actual flagship channel, NBC. You're about to show me Team USA women's hockey play against Finland after you literally just showed me 2 minutes prior what the final score is. Yeah. With a live cut in. Just don't do that live cut in. Look, it's fine to do a live cut into bobsled if you know you're not showing bobsled for 4 hours. If you're literally going straight into this women's hockey game, don't show me the final score of the game before you cut to the game.
Too. Yeah, no, it's been pretty bad. That's why we just get on now, and then when we get off work tonight, or well, I don't have work tonight, but when she gets off work, other nights when I get off work, we just say, hey, what event do you want to watch? And then we just watch the specific event because we're so upset with the coverage.
Yeah, 100%. I will say, if you want to enjoy these Olympics, the way to do it is through Peacock. Now, I know Peacock is way overpriced considering how little content there is on it. However, during the Olympics, it is worth it. There's some bundles you can get with it, like if you bundle it, I believe, with Apple TV, something like that. So look into bundles, whatever. Pick it up for the Olympics. Go on Peacock. There's a tab called Olympics. Click on the tab. Don't even look at what's live. Just go down, and there's a section where you can choose what sport you want to see. Pick whatever sport you like, and then from there, you can choose whatever replays you want to see. That way, like, hey, if I don't have time to watch everything, you don't have to watch the qualifying. Just watch the final, right? Qualifying has a bunch of people. Finals down to the final 12 or however many it is. So, you can curate what you watch, and you don't have to watch commercials. And assuming you buy packages with no commercials, anytime they would go to commercial, you do still miss that time that NBC cut away from the match or the event. But you at least go from, like Mitch mentioned, pair 10 of 15. You might go from pair 7 of 15 to 10 of 15 during the commercial break. But at least you're not going from like 2 of 15 to 10 of 15 like he had to do watching the
yeah, it was so obvious. And no, they did it backwards too. It was like pair 14 of 15, they showed the American run, and then they showed pair 10 of 15. I'm not even joking. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And then it's funny you say like, oh, it doesn't have Peacock's like one of the last subscriptions I would get rid of, probably last or second last, just because of Premier League and Dan Patrick's show. So yes, I watch it all on.
Well, yeah, but you watch it for EPL, right? Like,
one of the
reason I used to have it was for. Yeah. I used to only have it because of WWE, and I don't even watch WWE anymore, but like it'd be like I'd watch WrestleMania and Royal Rumble, you know what I mean? Yeah. 2 events a year. I had it for that, but now those have moved to ESPN, so it's like that stuff's gone. Traders is a great show, so like I renewed it to watch Traders and Peacock and the Olympics. Once the Olympics is over, I will probably cancel it again until Traders comes back out.
Yeah, if they didn't have the EPL, I would 100%, but the EPL is a must. So they did a good job on keeping the EPL. Once they lose the EPL, I'm out.
Yeah, once that goes somewhere else.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that's kind of my rant about the coverage. But yeah, I mean, Olympics is always fun. It's always great to see these athletes do crazy stuff. And as we kind of talked about, it's always funny. It's like in his daytime job, he works retail at the mall, but now here he is skating for gold because these aren't the big money sports. It's not like soccer, football, basketball, baseball. So it is kind of funny to see like it'd be crazy like you're walking down the street and like, oh, this guy's just straight up an Olympic gold medalist. Like what's up, bro?
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
The one thing I will say about the Winter Olympics, just after bashing on it this whole time, is like yes, summer is much better by far, but the one thing about the Winter Olympics that can't be replicated is like the level. How do I say this? The level of finality, the level of like seriousness, like and a lot of like you could get hurt in gymnastics and stuff like that, but it's not like there's no Lindsey Vonn situation in the Summer Olympics. You know what I mean? Like, or oh my gosh, I can't pronounce his name, but the men's guy who crashed in the Super G or whatever. It's like that guy's gonna take 2 years to rehab or whatever. It's like there's a level of injury in the Winter Olympics that you're always kind of like. It's like a NASCAR race. You don't want, you know what I mean? It's like there's always a level of like a crash could happen at any time, and when it does, it's not gonna be good. And there's not really that level of what's the word? Like fear or anxiety.
Intensity. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
There's nothing in that in the summer, even though the Summer Olympics is still 100 times better. But the Winter Olympics, every time you're just like, oh, it's so close to massive injury.
Yeah, I mean, and I will say, like, I don't think the Winter Olympics is bad. I think there's just more entertaining summer events. The NBC coverage has been my issue. I just like I've watched Winter Olympics in the past, and I did not have to listen to a drone the entire time. And drones have been around for a hot minute, so it's not like oh, this is the first time drones are out. Let me play around with this. Like, no, this is just some genius decided let's add a drone, and no one in the booth was like, hey, that drone is annoying the heck out of every single person watching our broadcast. Let's get rid of the drone.
Did you see their coverage of the biathlon? They completely ruined it.
Don't tell me about what happened because I haven't watched all of it. But
they just bouncing around the different spots. It's like you have to you're more just looking at the leaderboard and how it changed every second instead of like actually seeing it happen. You're just like, oh my gosh, the attack, blah blah blah, past these guys, blah blah blah, whatever, and you're like, oh my gosh, and then it's just like, okay, we're gonna skip ahead like 8 whole minutes, like we don't know. And it's like, oh, by the way, this person passed this person during the skiing portion because he's a much better skier than shooter. And it's like, well, that would have been cool to watch. What the heck just happened?
Yeah, I will say I did watch the biathlon mixed team relay. I haven't watched the individual events, and I remember 2 years ago I watched all the biathlon events. For those who don't know, that's the one where you ski and shoot. It's highly entertaining in my opinion.
The women were better shooters in that one.
Well, they were, but also like they didn't show the shooting for most of the event. Like that's True. One of the fun is like they show the targets and show how people like shoot and deal on the targets.
Or how much they miss by.
Or how close they are on their shots when they miss. They would show the range and they put a graphic on screen that would pop up green if they made the shot and red if they missed it. Like that is so not intense compared to getting to actual watch the shooting in your shooting event. Now look, I get when there's 50 people there at once on the first lap, you can't do that. But there were plenty of laps where it'd just be 4 people on the range. Like, give me a quad box. Or just focus on the guy in first or the girl in first. Like, just let me... They eventually did towards the end. They showed a couple because that one girl, was out all by herself. But, like, let us see the shooting in these skiing and shooting event. There's literally 2 things I'm watching this for. It's skiing and shooting. Let me see both.
Yeah, they must have not had a focus group either because they kept showing this. Obviously, the camera's not right behind them as they're shooting because that would be infringing upon the event or whatever. But the camera's like massively zoomed in from probably I don't know how many far behind them, but just zoomed in and it looks like it's over shoulder. Remember they do prone and they stand up the second time or whatever.
Right.
The one when they stand up, it's like right over their shoulder and it looks so cool. It's like borderline video game-esque, and they probably showed it in the 2 hours that I watched the event maybe 3 or 4 times. I was just like. You did not have a focus group because that is an insanely awesome POV, and you guys just didn't show it. That should be the default POV every time they shoot. Like,
it also it does so much more justice to show how far away the targets are because you can't see when you're watching the event how these targets are not close, but like they don't show you that when they show like you said the normal view because they show you from their side.
The amount of snow that's moving laterally against you. Like one of these shots, these girls was aiming. I'm like, she's aiming at the other team's targets, and it's like, boom, bullseye. I'm like, oh man, there must be a lot of wind compensation or something.
Yeah, I feel like they would be much better served if they actually would show us what we want to see.
Yeah.
But maybe one day.
Maybe yeah.
Maybe one day. But anyway. Yeah, so football's over. We're kind of moving into the dead zone. We got Olympics to scratch that itch right now. But Mitch, coming up 2 weeks from now, Olympics is over. Football's over. Baseball won't have started yet. What's your go-to to keep keep your sports itch scratched during the dead zone here?
Well, as I uh, what date is the World Cup?
World Cup probably will start in like June. I
So
guess.
that's definitely going to hold us over. I'm not exactly sure what exact dates they are. I should know that. I'm stalling right now as I look it up. July 19th. Okay, so it's the middle of
July.
summer. Yeah, football might be starting already by
I mean,
then.
we'll
But
get basketball and hockey playoffs here in a
correct. That's what
month
I was
or
gonna say. I
so.
get, I get. Well, specifically for me, I need to admit, in the last 5 to 10 years or so, I have not been much of an NBA basketball fan as I am a Lakers fan. So I've got Lakers playoffs, and I've got Champions League. Other than that, all this time of the year is just me, just reflecting on some fantasy football notes. As I've told the guys before, I do like to do year-end reviews of teams. It's only like a couple sentences, but a lot of times people let the summer change your opinion too much of some of these teams when really they're still a replication of how they were week 16, 17. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I do that. That keeps me going with my football fix or whatever. But yeah, it's just that kind of a little prep and fantasy, Champions League, and then itching for World Cup. And honestly, I don't want to get too much into this, but I'm so afraid of how the World Cup's going to get politicized that I'm not even necessarily looking forward. I'm like afraid in for the wrong reasons. But I can't wait for the soccer, obviously. But yep, that's what I got going for me.
Let me ask you this: are you a March Madness guy at all? Because like I mean that's kind of the next thing coming
I
up. Really would
do.
be March Madness.
The one thing about basketball, and this is, oh man, I'm gonna start sounding like the old guy. Get off my lawn, and I'm not even. We're not even that old, but I just have to be honest, and I will watch it, so I'm not gonna be hypocritical, and I will probably bet a little. I'm just kidding, but the thing is, I don't like what college sports looks like to today does not look like what it once was to us, where it used to be like actual 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, 21-year-old kids, and not even that because they would leave after a year to go pro. So it was really just a bunch of 18, 19-year-old kids. And now last year the Auburn, no offense Auburn or anything, but you guys had 25, 26, 27-year-olds on your basketball. And look, I don't want to be hypocritical again because if I was one of those players, hey man, play basketball at a college as long as you can, make money before you enter the real world because the real world is not going to be near as fun. I promise you. So yeah, I don't blame you, but like you turn on those games and it's like last year there was five, and two of them were from Rutgers, and Rutgers didn't even make the tournament. Five top 10 picks, and all of them were out in the all of them were out by the second round, and two of them didn't make it or whatever was the stat. I think actually all of them were out by the first round. I just don't want to overstate it and be wrong. So like that's so opposite of what we grew up on, where it was like the number one picks were always making it to the championships, or at least somewhat close, right? Like even the guys of like Joakim Noah that won back-to-back titles, who wasn't even like a number one prospect, still goes top 10 or whatever. Those guys aren't even making it out of the first round anymore because they're 18-year-old guys going up against 26-year-old guys who've played together or taken care of the transfer portal in the last 3 years and have like played together. So it's like I'm complaining. I'll definitely watch it, but college basketball is not once what it was to me before. To be honest with you, I'm liking professional baseball more than college basketball, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, and I think another thing that the current landscape of college basketball is taken away from is used to you had the powerhouse teams like the Kentuckies who had the one and done players who were
Right.
really good, and then you also had the teams that had guys who'd been there from the beginnings playing together, fourth year seniors, a whole group of 5 to 6 of them, like the Villanovas, the Gonzagas, those teams making a run. So you got like two different styles of like really quality teams, and you
Yeah.
really lose that now because those seniors who get good, they don't stay with the teams all 4 years, because when you're with the smaller basketball school and you get really good over the course of your 2-3 years, even if you can't go pro, now you just transfer to the
100%.
Kentucky, the Duke, the wherever, and it's like, sure, so those teams might still be good, but some of the teams that you're used to seeing as not underdog, but like basketball school, like Division I basketball doesn't play, football type school, you're seeing less of those in the mix, less of those making a run, less of those going deep in the tournament, like the George Masons, for example.
Yep.
Excuse me, but yeah,
Yeah,
like Villanova's not even on the AP top 25, anymore. Gonzaga's down here at 12. They used to be, higher. I mean, it looks like they just took a dive, but still, like some of these schools that I'm naming that don't have football teams. Well, now it's like the football teams that have money, like they stay higher on the list because they can spend their money.
Yeah, so to your point exactly, it used to be like the Adam Morrisons of the world, like the Gonzaga versus Anthony Davis, like one and dones. It used to be like, oh, it's this 4-year guy who's really good, versus the 1-year one and done. And the other one last thing I'll say before I keep rambling about it, like I'm almost positive last year there was like it was like I can't remember the exact number, but it was like 7 or 8 of the NCAA teams were older than the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the Oklahoma City Thunder won the national title the next year, or that like 6 months later, or 5 months later, whatever, or 4 months later. So like, could you imagine growing up during our times being like, well, these college teams are older than pros teams? How is that? Like, it doesn't make it, and I'm not. That's not even being made like. That's just the reality of what it is now. So yeah, I'm the old guy, and college basketball is like, not really. I don't really care.
Yeah, you just want people to get off your lawn. I get it.
Yeah, get off my lawn. Make college basketball great again.
let's not go there, but
I was just joking.
oh man,
I'm having fun. I'm trying to get us canceled today.
Always, that's always your MO. All right, well, do you have any other sporting events, sports news, sports anything you want to talk about?
No, I mean, I don't know if we talked about Lindsey Vonn or not, but I just want to say,
we haven't. Yeah, we need to talk about that.
We don't even need to really. I just have one question. How many millions of dollars would it take for you to agree to go down the Super G or the downhill, which is basically the same thing? One's got a little bit more slaloms than the other. But you're basically going downhill in the most dangerous event where people statistically get to hurt the most at anywhere from 60 to, well, the men got up to like 98, but 60 to 85 miles per hour on a torn ACL. How much money do I need to offer you to make you do that?
To answer your question, how much money do I lose in salary from being out for the next year in a coma? And how much money did my medical bills cost? So like probably like a 1 million on top of that, and I'll do it.
Okay, that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
1 million on top of medical expenses covered.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think mine might be a million's a lot. Yeah, it's somewhere in between 800,000 to 1.5. It's got to be somewhere.
Well, you said how many millions, so
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, for those who don't know, so Lindsey Vonn, famous skier. She used to be good way back in the day. Hung him up, didn't ski for 8 years, had some injuries, came back. 9 days before the Olympics, tears her ACL. Look, that sucks. I'm so sorry that happened to her. But you tore your ACL. You shouldn't be out there. You shouldn't be out there. Well, whether it's because she's a competitor, because she knew it was her last one, or Mitch's, theory, things he's heard that she was going to lose out on a lot of money if she didn't make an appearance, she decided to try to ski anyway with a torn ACL. For those who don't know what an ACL is, it kind of holds your knee together. So she went out there. And honestly, I don't even think this had anything to do with her ACL. She just hit the first flag with her pole, got crooked, came down wrong at high speeds, and boom, game over, airlifted out of there. Her Olympics is over. And the saddest part about the whole thing is another Olympian who, again, the sad part, I don't remember her name because everyone talks about Vaughn.
Jordan Breezy.
Thank you, Breezy. An American won gold in that event. And instead of that event being about an American woman winning gold, it is now about Lindsey Vonn getting hurt. And look, I wish Lindsey Vonn all the best. I hope she has a speedy recovery and fully recovers, and is able to live a normal life with a normal functioning leg. But I think what she did was very selfish. Not saying I wouldn't have done it, but I didn't have the opportunity, so I could sit here on my little pedestal and judge.
Criticize, yeah. Sorry, it was Breezy Johnson. Sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, Breezy Johnson. Yeah, Breezy Johnson, U.S. woman, won gold, and we should be celebrating her achievement. Instead, we're talking about Lindsey Vonn, because she did something foolish and paid a big price for it.
Yeah, she paid big time. I don't know, right? But what I was reading or whatever is just she had like $12 million in endorsements. We don't know what those contracts state or whatever, and it could be that she needed to be seen with like she's like Rolex and the energy drink. It's like she needs to be seen with that on her at the Olympics in order to collect. So that was I guess what was out in the ether or whatever that that's why she's going to go race with a torn ACL and go downhill because she wants to be seen with these endorsements. Well, that didn't go so well. So I hope you enjoy your money because that is terrible. It's going to be so much pain.
Yeah, I mean it definitely sucks. But it is what it is. But at the end of the day, she made her choice and presumably made her money. And so I'm sure she probably made more than the $1 million we needed to cover our expenses and recovery. So I'm sure she'll be fine as long as medically she is fine. But she did have to have surgery that same day. So hopefully she's fine. Wish her speedy recovery. And also big props to Breezy Johnson representing her country, bringing home the gold. So
which is also an event we don't really win in. So it's really cool.
I mean, we don't win in a lot in the Winter Olympics is not like the Summer Olympics for the U.S. where we kind of dominate. In the Winter Olympics, look, there's countries that is like snow 90% of the year on 90% of the surface of their country, and they're a lot better at it than we are. But that's the fun of it. Like it's fun to be the juggernaut. It's also fun to be an underdog as long as you do get a couple of those.
How Argentina
good
and
wins.
Brazil is to soccer, there are other countries in the world that just have way more lineage for these winter events and competitions than we do. It's just insane.
Yeah, if wars were won based purely on how you'd ski, Norway would be a superpower. So.
Sweden and Norway, or Switzerland and Norway would own the world.
So, but yeah, man. All right, we've talked football. We have talked Olympics. Anything else you need to talk about, sports or otherwise, that you want to bring up?
I'm good.
All right, then I got one last thing before we head out. Then I wanted to do this before the Super Bowl party, but didn't have time, didn't get around to it, and it obviously better with more people. We'll do it with just two of us. What is your top 3 game day foods? So what I mean by that. This is like top 3 Super Bowl party food, and it doesn't have to just be the food we serve at our Super Bowl party, because I know every year you go to ours. Like it could be something that to you is a game day food that you wish you had. Like we don't do nachos, for example. Maybe nachos is one of your top 3 game day foods. So, what are your top 3 foods to have on a game day as a spectator? I'm not talking about guy who's going to play, right? So what's your top 3 game day foods as a spectator?
One, there's got to be some kind of chips and dip. And then 2 and 3 could be whatever filet your dad cooked. I'm not even kidding. Any type of red meat that you have will be my next answer. And then third, well, most people will say a beer, but whatever helps you relax.
I know what you mean, based on knowing you. All right, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I will go a lot off of what we normally make, just because I go to that party all the time. One, I don't think you can beat a good homemade cheeseburger. I think that's top tier game day food. You can get good burgers at restaurants, fast food places, what have you, but I think I like the homemade one done on the grill. That's chef's kiss. 2, I love those freaking little meatballs that we do. I eat way too many of them. They're so good. So, snacking on some meatballs, right up there for me. And then 3, since you went beverage, I guess I'll go beverage too. Even though I can't have these anymore, it's got to be Mountain Dew. Haven't had one in years for health reasons, but yeah, that was always my beverage of choice. So that's what will be my go-to. That's my Super Bowl party stash.
What about mocktail lemonades?
Oh, don't get me started. Hey, Red Robin. If you're listening, guy who runs Red Robin, a lemonade that has 2 different fruits instead of one does not make it a mocktail. It's still a lemonade. Go to Red Robin. They have a drink menu, which the waiter, the whole service was terrible at this Red Robin. I'm not knocking Red Robin in general, like Red Robin. This one had terrible service. The drink menu, once we finally got one, has a lemonade section. Now, for those who don't know, I don't drink soda, so I'm like, all right, well, it's either water or lemonade. Let's see what kind of lemonades they have. I'm like, oh, that's weird. They used to have this really good one called like Sunset Lemonade. They don't see it on here. He's like, oh, we still have it. I'm like, dude, I'm looking at your lemonade section, not here. And he points it out to me. It's in a different section of the menu on a different page in the mocktail section. It's a bunch of non-alcoholic drinks and then this lemonade, which is literally just 2 different fruits and lemonade. Like, how is that a mocktail? I'm sorry. But yeah, that's my rant about Red Robin that Mitch just started.
Not our best choice. Next year, I don't think we'll be doing that.
Yeah, they're gonna have to win us back. I don't know, maybe some free cheese sticks or something. That was not great.
For sure.
But yeah,
R.I.P. Outback and Red Robin.
Poor out. Have you been back since? I mean, it used to be your favorite place.
I don't think I've been in probably 8 years or so. I think I went once or twice in the last 10 years. That's it.
Is this still one of your faves though? Or have you
I
given
mean,
up on it?
any place that serves kind of, steak and potatoes is gonna be high on my list.
Fair enough. Yeah, you honestly, out of all the people I know, you are the biggest steak enjoyer out of everyone. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like steak as much as the next guy. I'm not like knocking steak, but like I feel like you would eat a steak at every meal if it was an option.
Yeah, I constantly go, I can't do it that much. I that's literally how it is for most of my dinners. I'm like, how much have I had in the last 4 or 5 days? And then I decide if I can have some that time. And I don't know. It's just chicken and red meat. I don't know, man. Just for some reason beats everything.
All right, well, that's all I got for this week. Unless you got anything else, we'll go ahead and wrap it here. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Hope you enjoyed the Super Bowl, at least the party part of it, because the game itself is pretty meh. Hope you enjoy the off season. We'll still be coming to you with plenty of content here on the podcast. Probably talk more Olympics, obviously, because that's going on. Then, we'll look at basketball playoffs, hockey playoffs, March Madness when those go on. And then we'll also find other random fun stuff to talk about, as we always do. I mean, we were in the off-season. Some of our best episodes, I think, were off-season episodes last year, if I'm being honest. Yeah. So I think there's plenty of good content to come. It just won't be as much football content. Thanks for listening, Delvers, and sign us off there, Mitch.
We'll definitely keep you updated with World Cup content for sure.
Oh, yeah, dude, when World Cup is on, I intend to watch every single game. So
yeah, World Cup's always amazing.
All right, peace. Enjoy it.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Oh, no, wait, bumper music. Hold on. 1 second. All right, now goodbye.